everyone, so welcome to the demo. So I'm sure you guys have heard of Kanye West and Kim Kardashian. If you haven't, they're very popular people in the media. Kanye is a rapper, Kim, not sure exactly what she does, but they're married, and so basically for this demo we're going to be doing a good old-fashioned Twitter stalking, but this time using programming. So basically, me and a friend created a program that basically allow us to get all the tweets of any public user. So, for example, let's do Kanye. So the function is get tweets, and then we put in their Twitter handle, which is Kanye West, of course. Then it starts to get their tweets. So just to explain, API, and what API stands for is Application Programming Interface. Don't worry about what that means, or the words themselves, but basically it just means kind of a program you can interact with. So like I can ask the Twitter API for something, which is I'm asking it for all the tweets for Kanye West, and then it returns something back to me. And that's basically what an API is, and it makes it so you can build on a lot of cool things and work with other programmers. There we go, we got all Kanye's tweets. So now what we're going to do is save that to a variable. So Kanye West tweets, or we can just do Kanye tweets, is equal to, and don't worry about the syntax for this, it's not important. But basically we're just saving those tweets to a variable, and as you can see here are all the tweets. And by the way, what I'm using to do this is called a terminal. I'm not sure if you guys know about this yet, but it's basically my window to the computer. So it's how I talk to my computer, give it commands, kind of run programs. So now let's save a variable for the likes. Yay, likes is equal to parser dot total likes. All right, so now let's move on to Kim, his wife. Get tweets. So one thing to note is I did write this program, but if I gave this program to, for example, say a friend of mine who had no idea how talking to this API worked and all that other stuff, they don't need to worry about that. All they need to know is that they have this function called get tweets, and they can call it with a Twitter handle and get back those tweets. And that really simplifies a lot for the user and makes some really cool things. Alright, so now let's assign Kim's tweets to a variable. Dot tweets. And then assign her likes to a variable. And there we go. Alright, so now let's start having some fun. So a lot of people say Kanye West is kind of full of himself. So let's see if that's true. So basically, we're going to keep track of how many times Kanye says every single word, like a count for each word. So how many times he says, for example, his own name, how many times he says dog, or whatever else in his tweets. So this is another function, more functional abstraction as always. No, sorry about that. Is equal to get word counts. And there we go. So now, for example, let's see how many times he talks about himself in tweets. In all caps. There we go. 26 times. Alright. What about Yeezus? Got another 7? Maybe even Yeezy? There we go. So Kanye does like to talk about himself quite often. We can also see a list of all the most common ones he said, which a lot of these aren't too interesting, but you get the point. There's some cool things you can do. Now, let's see how often he mentions his wife, Kim. Nope. What about Kardashian? Nope, I guess not. So, definitely doesn't talk about his wife too much on Twitter, at least. Let's see about the other way around. So, let's see what Kim talks about. So, now Kim word count. So I'm assigning a variable, and then I'm using my function to get all the word counts for Kim's tweets. There we go. And let's see what words she uses most often. Alright, Kardashian 205 times. She talks about herself quite a lot. I guess her sisters. Keeping up with the Kardashians. She's got Kanye up there 13 times. Doing a little better than her husband. Vibes, Kimoji, street style. Some interesting stuff. You can tell why she's so popular. Alright, so let's do one last thing with this. Let's see who's actually more popular, who has more total likes. So, Kanye likes. Wow. So, he has 29 million likes. And let's see, Kim. Alright, not as good, 10 million. So we can, for example, see how many more Kanye has. Or wrong way around, but you get the point. 20 million more about, which is pretty impressive. Kanye's doing well for himself. So although this was kind of a silly example, it could be used for a lot of other things, which would be more interesting. For example, you could use the same type of API type thing to use, for example, Instagram pictures to find the most scenic route to get to work. You could use Twitter feeds to detect when people talk about suspicious activity or something dangerous, and then warn people in the area. There's all kinds of things like this you can do. You could, for example, create something that found pollution near you and warned you when you were in a very polluted area and that you should be careful, for example, in China and things like that. And there's some really cool things you can do, and the possibilities are honestly limitless. So, I mean, it is really awesome, but there's also things to worry about. For example, the fact that I can basically look at anyone's tweets. Like, even a person I don't know. Like, let's say, get tweets of John Smith. There we go. I'm getting information about some random stranger that I don't even know. Like, these are all his tweets. And you start to get into these issues of privacy, of whether it's safe to have this much information, whether the users should have to give permission, or if it's public and that's okay. And there's these deep moral issues you have to start to think about, and it's not as simple as it seems. And that's kind of what I love about programming. It's a constantly evolving field that you never get tired of. It's never boring. It's always interesting. There's either really cool things you're doing, awesome projects you're engaged in, cool APIs you can interact with. Like, for example, the NASA API. You can get information about the stars, about weather, about almost anything. And it's insane what you can do, but at the same time, we have to worry about how to be responsible with that data. So anyways, I got a little off track, but I really want you guys to kind of see how much you can do with computer science, and not that it's not just sitting at a desk for 8 hours programming. That's really not what it's about. So anyways, if you guys are interested in learning more about computer science, we'd love to come back to your school and host another workshop, and you should really talk to administrators about letting us do that. And again, if you have any suggestions on ways we can improve, let us know. We really want to give you the best experience possible. So, again, we'd like to thank you for letting us come here and teach you guys, to provide you with these lessons. We really enjoy doing this, and we hope that you enjoy doing it just as much as we enjoy teaching you. Anyways, thank you again, and I hope some of you guys pursue computer science, or at least that these workshops kind of opened your eyes or gave you tools that you'll be able to use in whatever field you pursue.